Hello everyone, my name is Katie and I am the Introverted Reader, and today's video is going to be my wrap up for November. I realized at this point in time when I'm filming this, November isn't quite over yet. Today is the 28th. I'm filming this on a Saturday, but I don't really have any plans of finishing any more books. So, but you're not going to be seeing this until Monday. So I hope life on a Monday is treating you well when you're watching this. So I did a good fair amount of reading in the month of November. I'm very proud of myself. I read 4 physical books and listened to 2 audiobooks, and also read 1 graphic novel, so I guess 5 physical books counts. But the first one that I want to talk about is actually one that I started in October, but I finished it this month, and that is Aurora Burning by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff. This is book 2 in the Aurora cycle, and I had a feeling in my heart that this book was going to break me, and it broke me. It broke me so hard, and I loved it. I loved every second. I love these characters. I love the story. So this got a 5 out of 5 from me. Like, look at all these tabs. Like, it's wonderful. So basically the story is about this crew of these random young cadets, and yeah, one of them finds this girl floating in this derelict spaceship. Everyone else is dead except for her, and he sort of brings her out of it, and then she wakes up only to find that 200 years has passed since she fell asleep. And yeah, that's a really vague synopsis, but that's really all I can give you without spoiling. But yeah, 5 out of 5. I love this so much. Like, I actually teared up reading this. It was wonderful. And the next book that I read was actually our Introverted Reader book club pick of the month for November, and that was Mirage by Samaya Dowd. And I have a full review for this on my channel. If you want to go and watch it, I'll leave it linked down below. But basically, it is about this solar system that was basically taken over by these invading colonists, and they took the place over, and our main character lives on a small moon within the little solar system. And she one day is brought before the Imperial Palace, only to discover that she bears a very striking resemblance to the Crown Princess, and they basically tell her that they're going to use her as a body double for the princess because everybody hates the princess. She's just straight up horrible, and everywhere she goes an assassination attempt is made on her, so they are using our main character as sort of like a stand-in. So if somebody kills her, it doesn't matter. But anyway, I have a full review of this on my channel. I gave it 3 stars overall, but yeah, you can find out more of my thoughts in my review. I will leave it linked down below. The next book that I read was one that I had intended maybe to read in September, but then never got around to it, so I put it on my October TBR instead. And I started it, didn't really like it. I started reading it physically, and I wasn't really enjoying it. I wasn't really connecting with the story or the characters. Oh, and it's Beneath the Citadel by Destiny Soraya. So anyway, I started this, and I wasn't really liking it, and then I was just like, you know what, it's too dense. So I got the audiobook instead, and I listened to the audiobook, and then I'm really glad that I did that because I really liked it. I really loved it. So it's basically set in this world where the laws and everything in the land is governed by prophecies. So like different types of people have different sorts of like gifts to do with divination and stuff and foretelling the future and whatever. So everybody's lives is dictated by these prophecies, and there was this huge revolution that went horribly wrong, and one of our main characters' parents were the leaders of this revolution, but they were killed in the fight. And basically our main character and her 3 friends are basically trying to carry on her parents' work, and yeah, that's really all I can give. I was really impressed by this book, and it's and the LGBTQA plus rep that was in here. There's also one of the characters in this suffers from chronic pain, because it's mentioned quite a lot that he has to wear like braces on his elbows and knees and like a lot of his joints dislocate, and he talks about like being in pain like all the time. I can't talk about the chronic pain because I don't suffer from chronic pain, but any of you amazing wonderful people out there that have to deal with it as well, yeah, I can't really talk on it, but any of you lovely people out there that have to deal with it, I will let you read this and decide for yourself. But I just thought it was really interesting. Like, I wasn't really expecting it. Like, I knew there was good LGBTQ plus rep in here, but because one of the characters is bi, another one is gay, and one of the other ones is asexual. So like, I really, really like that. I really like the representation. I really like the story. I mean, I wasn't a big fan of a lot of one of the characters in particular, but she was okay. She wasn't even in it that much, if I'm being honest. But it was okay. It was actually really, really good, and I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. The next book that I read was the graphic novel that I read this month, and I didn't know whether or not this was going to be in my possession or not, but it arrived and I was so happy, and I read it in one sitting, and it was Avatar: The Last Airbender, The Search. Oh my god. Guys, listen, Avatar is literally one of my favorite shows of all time. Me and a couple of my friends on Twitter were rewatching it over the last month or so, and this was... the amount of times while reading this, my jaw just hit the floor. Like, I love this so much, and it focuses on Zuko right here on the front, where he should be. My favorite character in the whole of Avatar. Like, this was so good. I can't really give a synopsis without spoiling you, but because these are the graphic novels that take place after the TV show. But if you watch the TV show and you've read this, you know why I am so just right now. But if you are a fan of the show and you haven't read the comics yet, I highly recommend that you do. Start with The Promise, and then there's this, and then I believe the next one is called The Rift. I do not have that in my possession yet because I'm flat broke after buying Christmas presents, but yeah, this was amazing. 5 out of 5. 5 out of 5. Anyway, next book that I read was Ace of Shades by Amanda Foody. This is a young adult sort of fantasy dystopian-ish novel, and it's basically about our main character called Anne, and she is on the hunt for her adopted mother. Her adopted mother went missing, and basically her last words to her were, "If I'm not back in 2 months, I'm dead." And it's been over 4 months since she's seen her adopted mother, so she has to go to this city. What's it called again? New Rains. Anyway, she has to go to the city called New Rains, and it's basically like the city of sin. Like, all sorts of debauchery go on there. And our main girl is not about that life at all. She is like a proper lady. Like, all she wants to do is find her mom and, you know, and get back to normal life, basically. And then she runs across our other main character called Levi, who is wonderful. I loved him. He is like the young leader of this gang within the city, and he's got himself in a little bit of hot water. He owes a lot of money to a lot of people, so the two of them sort of end up teaming up together and working together in order to find Anne's mom, and also to help Levi out of his debt, because Anne promises to pay him because her and her mother are rich. So she's like, "I'll pay you if you help me find my mom." All in all, this was okay. It was okay. It wasn't wonderful. It was okay. I really, really like the character of Levi. Like I said, I really like the setting. The main girl was a little bit annoying. The story moved a little bit slow in some places for my liking, but I still enjoyed it, and I think I might carry on with the trilogy. I believe there's 3 books in this little series, so all in all, I gave it 3 out of 5 stars. Just quick. The next audiobook that I listened to was Trials of Apollo, The Tower of Nero by Rick Riordan. This is the 5th and final book in the Trials of Apollo series, and I won't lie, I did get a little bit teary-eyed getting to the end of this. I was like, oh. It's basically a story about the god Apollo, and he gets cast out of Earth by Zeus. He doesn't really have any memory as to why. He's stripped completely of his godly powers, and he basically has to go through all of these trials, hence the title, in order to gain back Zeus's favor and get back to Mount Olympus, and runs into some friends along the way. So yeah, all in all, love this. Highly recommend the audiobooks, and yeah, give it 4 out of 5 stars. The next to last one that I read was The Lost Book of the White by Cassandra Clare and Wesley Cho. This is a story centered around Alec and Magnus. The first one, The Red Scrolls of Magic, was sort of sandwiched between City of Glass and City of Fallen Angels. This one is set after the Mortal Instruments has been done, and we've got the Mortal Instruments, and then there's the Tales from Shadowhunter Academy, and then there's this book. I believe this is set before the Dark Artifices. Correct me if I'm wrong, but yeah, I love this. I can't really give a synopsis without spoiling, but basically something happens and there's like old friends of Magnus's are popping up and they end up in Shanghai. That's all I can say without spoiling you, but yeah, I love this and I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. And the very last book that I finished within the month of November was The Damned by Renee Ahdieh. This is book 2 in the Beautiful series. I don't know how many books she's gonna have in this series, but this series was basically about this girl called Celine, and she lived in Paris with her father, but then something really traumatic happened to her in Paris. So she hightails it with a bunch of other girls to New Orleans in America, and she hopes to build a new life for herself there and forget everything that happened in Paris. But then mysterious things start happening in New Orleans. And yeah, so she basically sort of finds herself within the dark underbelly of this amazing, magical, mystical city, and it kind of goes from there. This series was supposed to be like vampires coming back into young adult fiction, and the first one didn't really have that, but this one, oh, this one had all the vampire goodness that I have been craving, and like, I loved it. I absolutely loved it, and I cannot wait for the next book in the series. Don't know when that's gonna come out, but I love this, and I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. So those are all the books that I read in the month of November. I hope you enjoyed it. My TBR for December is also on my channel. My sister picked out the books that I'm reading for next month, so go and watch that if you want to see me, if you want to see how wrong she did me. Anyway, thank you all so much for watching. Won't keep you much longer. My Twitter and my Instagram are down below as always. Subscribe if you haven't already, and ring the bell for when I upload a new video. So this video will be brought to you on a Monday. Hello. And then Trope Talk will be coming for you tomorrow, but for me on Tuesday. So I'll see you then. Bye.